So some of those red flags, man, that I've noticed with drivers is, if they're over the road, not communicating. Fleet manager, dispatchers calling them. They're not responding. They're just doing their thing. They're running. Another red flag, man, is not paying attention to your hours of service. Just running. You know what I'm saying? You're in all type of violations, and what I'm saying, you're just not running. And the next thing, man, I would say really is just that emotional stability. Like, when we talk to drivers on the phone, you're gonna know the emotional stability they're in as you continue to speak with them every day. And you can notice, some emotional instability. Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? Welcome to another episode of Trucking Made Passive. I'm Q with Priceless Regime.
What's going on, everybody? It's D Lee checking in.
Let's get it. Let's get it. So on this episode or on this podcast, of course, we're just gonna be giving game back to the community. Really, just just showing the community about trucking. Exposing trucking from different perspectives. And just one of my main objectives is to ensure people understand that passive income gives you time freedom, and that's the highest paid currency there is. So, D Lee, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm good, bro. I'm blessed. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm actually doing well. Enjoying my day, man. So everything's going smooth, man.
Gotcha. What we speaking on today, man? Ready to roll into it.
Today, man, let's talk about these drivers, man. Like, what type of drivers should we be looking for? Like, from your perspective, what type of driver should we be looking for?
I like a person that got some skin in the game, I'll say. Somebody that got maybe 3 to 5 years, and I know they'll be accepting on the insurance with no problem with their experience. I also like somebody that has a clean MVR, man, or if anything, they may have something that's not a major incident on the MVR. As far as a driver that's in the SAP program, which is the substance abuse, it all just depends on why they're in there. I definitely like a clean MVR, clean record. I like a driver that's gonna stay out at least, 2 weeks, maybe then come home. But if not, if the driver's a Monday through Friday, it all depends on the location of that driver and that home time, man. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Gotcha. And I definitely understand that. And I think that you hit some good topics. You talked about, just having that clean MVR. Like that's literally the base, that you need, especially for newer trucking companies. If you get into the trucking industry and you're looking for a driver, at minimum, that driver needs a clean motor vehicle report. They need a good history as far as, no tickets or accidents in the last 2 to 3 years, because typically, that's how long insurance companies go back. They go back 2 or 3 years to check MVR. So at minimum, you need to be looking for a driver with no accidents or tickets in the last 2 to 3 years and a clean MVR report. You mentioned the substance abuse program. Me personally, I'm a person that, loves to give second and third chances. Now you have to, when it gets to that second or third time, we're looking at character.
As far as the character with the driver, I'm looking for somebody, number one, who's going to have some leadership skills, who can make decisions while on the road. Number two, I'm looking for somebody who's going to be able to communicate, somebody who is able to pick up the phone, let me know what's going on. If they have any issues, they're able to give me a call, or they're able to get a dispatcher call, let them know, hey, I'm running late. Hey, this is what's going on at the receiver, the shipper. Hey, I just had an incident with the truck where it's not starting. I need somebody who's going to communicate and communicate correctly and efficiently. Number three, I need somebody who's going to know how to work that ELD, man, that electronic log device. A lot of times you have these older drivers who have these phones where it just is not compatible. They don't really know how to maneuver through it. Now we have so many hours of service violations because they don't know how to switch from.
Now, for me, man, it's a little different. I analyze drivers from the first day I'm doing that phone interview. I'm analyzing that driver. How responsive are they with, hitting me back via text, via email, via phone call? Are they very prompt with getting their clearinghouse things done? So when it comes to, keeping out a good driver, I feel like I have, the experience to know, I know like the first interview. I know during the phone conversation, if you just yapping at the mouth, about your old employer and things like that, that's a red flag. If you're talking about, I don't need to this employer a 2 week notice, that's a red flag. Even though I understand you want to leave from where you've been working, but you have common courtesy, is, to give a 2 week notice, 10-day notice, something, some type of notice, even if you guys, are on bad terms. I think common courtesy just leave on, 2-week, 10-day notice. Outside of that, man, being proactive. That's like one of the biggest things that I look for, those first 90 days when it comes to finding a good driver, being proactive. A lot of people don't understand, man, in the industry, basically, man, they say it takes three drivers to find that one good driver. And what a lot of people, a lot of fleet owners don't understand before they prior to coming into the game that, man, those first 90 days, that driver could be putting on the act. You don't know that driver until they're over the road and a little adversity hits. You really don't know that driver. That during that interview process, they can fake the funk. That's just being real. They can fake the funk. About a lot of us, know how to fake the funk in the interview. That first 2 or 3 weeks, they're over the road, going through the normal protocols. But what I've seen over the years is drivers that when they get to a point where they're missing their kids, missing their significant others, that's when they show their true character. That's typically when they show their true character because I've seen drivers that commit to, 10 to 14 days out on the road want to come home every weekend. Nah, man, I got my wife, she wanted to, do X, Y, and Z. My kids gotta, do X, Y, and Z, which I totally understand. I'm very understanding person when it comes to just the home time, extremely understanding. But when we have commitments that were made prior to, then we have to go another route. But yeah, that's kind of like, man, my biggest thing, that proactiveness and just really seeing after those 90 days.
Nah, I definitely feel you on that. I know some of the people, they definitely gonna want to know what are some of those red flags that you notice early on when you're dealing with the driver.
So some of those red flags, man, that I've noticed with drivers is, if they're over the road, not communicating. Fleet manager, dispatchers calling them, they're not responding, they're just doing their thing, they're running. Another red flag, man, is not paying attention to your hours of service. Just running. You know what I'm saying? You're in all type of violations and what I'm saying, you're just not running. And the next thing, man, I would say really is just that emotional stability. Like, when we talk to drivers on the phone, you're gonna know the emotional stability they're in as you continue to speak with them every day, and you can notice some emotional instability. So yeah, those are like some top three red flags: that communication, not being on top of your hours of service, and then just that emotional stability. Because that emotional stability, eventually, they're gonna make an emotional decision, and that's why I say that emotional stability is really a red flag.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Nah, those are all good gems. I know the people definitely appreciate that, man. But as far as driving, man, let's get down to the experiences, man. What have you seen like with actual driver? Give us just some of the horror stories, man, that actually happens with these drivers, just to give people real life situation that we just cannot make up.
Man, like I think this was probably one of the most emotional phone calls I've had with the driver. In the situation, and I forget what the driver was. He may have been in North Carolina, but the driver actually, he was at the shipper, and the story goes from the driver perspective is, the shippers, called him a name, called him a racial slur, and the driver was so upset. He was actually thinking about going in to fight the actual person in the shipper. And I'm big on the psyche. I'm big on the EQ these days. So I asked the driver. I asked the driver, I said, hey, did you, what type of racial slur or what did he call you or what did he say to you? And the driver could never confirm. And what I realized through the conversation that this was all in his head. This was all in this driver's head, and the driver has shown previous conversations just the emotional instability. So it was all in the driver's head. He felt as if they were actually joking on him or calling him names, um, which made him feel some type of way. And it got to the point where the driver is literally crying on the phone, and he is thinking about going in and fighting him, and literally like thinking about choking the people in the shipper. And I had to just calm the driver down. I had to calm the driver down. And man, it was a lot. It was a layered conversation. It was more to it than like actually, people calling him a racist slur, which I found out wasn't true. But yeah, that was a layered situation. A grown man crying on the front phone, and from my perspective, I'm trying to ensure that this load gets delivered, not damage this relationship with the shipper, and calm this driver down at the same time. So it was a tough situation for me. Plus, I'm like 600 miles away. I'm just on the phone with this driver trying to calm him down. So that was one of the more stickier situations, man.
Gotcha, man. It sounds like that one definitely can get out of control with a driver who like emotionally not stable, man. I mean, I can just only imagine just the situation that put you in and the other stories that he probably, incidents that he probably have did while on the road, man. That's hard to trust somebody like that because if you do that at one shipper, there's no telling what you'll do down the road with other shippers and receivers, man. Because you're gonna have to deal with people with different races, and that's just what it is, man. You gotta know how to handle yourself professionally. So, just gonna imagine, how that was with that driver.
Definitely, man. Definitely now. But hey, I appreciate you, D Lee. We're gonna wrap everything up today. I appreciate everybody checking in. See you next episode.
Let's go.